The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report. Television, radio, internet, the world.
Finally, the Pro Wrestling Report ESPN radio team is back in the same room on the same night, on a night that I, for one, will certainly never forget. A night where The Rock returned to WWE and showed the world what wrestling should be.
It shows what wrestling's been missing.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are live on 540 ESPN. We delayed our start tonight so that we could enjoy, much like all of you did out there around the world, the return of The Rock to WWE. Never, ever going to leave again, he said. Damian Nelson here alongside David Octavius, the Tiberius, the not a Hall of Famer hero, and the Kaz, Frank Cosentino. Gentlemen, for nearly 14 years we've been on the air, and we've done so as wrestling fans. We're not insiders. We don't want to be insiders. We're fans. Tonight was a mark-out moment.
It's a huge moment. I mean, right now there are people all across the world tweeting, Facebooking, LinkedIning, MySpacing, if that's even still there, talking about The Rock. And you know what's going to bring back all those old fans again?
It will. Yeah, I can see, they show that the trend thing for Twitter and such like that. It's magical. Tonight was magical.
The Rock, the guest host of WWE WrestleMania 27, coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia. It's going to be sweet, it's going to be sexy, and it's going to be electrifying. I believe the Georgia Dome just sold out.
Well, it may not have sold out, but it got a lot closer. I mean, how amazing is it? A couple weeks ago, we're talking, my God, what are they going to do to sell this building out?
A couple weeks ago, you were talking.
Oh, I was talking. That's fine. And look what Vinnie Mac has done. In the last 3 weeks, he's brought back Booker T, Big Daddy Cool, and now The Rock. And not to mention, Stone Cold's going to be there because the night after Mania, they got Tough Enough.
Vince McMahon said on the quarterly earnings call just last week that WrestleMania is a springboard for new talents. But with that springboard, it would be new talents right alongside with the old talents. And
exactly.
What better old talents, I use that term very loosely, what better old talents than those you just mentioned, David Hero? WrestleMania 27, I believe, is the rebirth of World Wrestling Entertainment if we didn't see that tonight.
Yeah, and now it's important to get that balance. You bring those fans that watched The Rock back then, that got wrestling in him and Stone Cold, and now those wrestlers that they feel can be the future can ride along with The Rock here for as long as he'll be on.
If The Rock lets him ride along. He kind of served notice tonight with John Cena and The Miz saying, hey, I'm back. It's my show.
Right.
He's back. He started out on Twitter tonight. It should come as no surprise that the number one trending topic on Twitter worldwide right now is a man who started a few hours ago with 0 followers, The Rock.
It's amazing.
It's got to be like.
Speaking of amazing, this is a heavily booked show. Coming up in a few moments, we have the Honky Tonk Man as our guest. We're going to talk to Honky Tonk Man about some goings on here in Milwaukee this weekend, and then when we come back from that, we're going to talk more about this epic
hold on.
event on Raw tonight.
It's going to be the Rock show. Okay, we'll do Honky Tonk, and then there's no reason to talk about Miz. You know,
WWE champion.
We can
Miz?
talk about Cena for a few seconds if you want, but it's going to be Rock on, Rock all night.
Rock of Love show.
Rock solid?
Rock of Love on Valentine's Day. I almost called it Halloween.
It is difficult for us to keep up with all of your tweets, and our Twitter name is @PWR Show. We want to welcome you to continue sending those tweets. We're going to try to scan through them during the breaks. Also, the couple of hundred of you joining us in the chat room here on Blog Talk Radio, where we are also streaming live. So much to get to. Raw just going off the air some 10 minutes ago. A lot of notes to collect, a lot of discussion to plan. And before we get to the Rock show, if you will, a Honky Tonk Man is our guest. We're going to take a time out. When we come back, joining us with his hair slicked back and his long sideburns, it's going to be the Honky Tonk Man. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN with the host of the year, Damian Nelson, on ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN. Start the day with Mike and Mike, mornings at 5 a.m. Get Milwaukee sports all day long on 540 ESPN.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
Welcome back to the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report. We're live on 540 ESPN, streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com. I want to welcome all of you listening to us on either of those broadcasts or on our Blog Talk Radio feed. Right now, gentlemen, we are the number one sports program on Blog Talk Radio. And want to thank all of you for joining us. You hear it in the background. An epic night. Matter of fact, the Honky Tonk Man is going to go ahead and come on at a different time so that we can continue our discussion on probably one of the most substantial moments in professional wrestling in the last couple of years, the return of The Rock to WWE television. And, gentlemen, here's why it is as significant as it is. Not only did he prove how great the Great One is, not only did he prove what's been missing from wrestling, not only did he prove what he brings to the table, but he said he is, and I quote, never, ever leaving again. Now,
so he must not
that's
be
a
listening
major
to your boy,
statement,
right?
That's a major statement. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well,
listening to my boy there. What are you talking about?
He says never say never. And the Rock is saying never.
I'm not familiar with any of his tracks aside from Baby, Baby, Baby.
Gotcha. The Rock is back. You know, honest to God, I'm thoroughly, extremely excited about this because his fire, his electricity has been missing. And he proved it. I mean, I talked about earlier today on Twitter. I said, hey, what person on Raw or SmackDown can go toe-to-toe with The Rock in a promo? After tonight, nobody.
Nobody can. And I will admit I was wrong about a year and a half ago when someone had asked, hey, maybe The Rock will come back. And I would say, why? He's making millions of dollars in movies?
Well. Let me make this point, David Hero, to that point. You say who can stand toe-to-toe with The Rock?
If you say that three-letter word, I'm going to punch you right in the mouth.
WWE?
No, the other three-letter word.
A-Rye? Listen. No, listen. All right, listen to the hottie. Listen to the host of the year.
Listening.
Listen to the host of the year here, the King of Wrestling Radio.
Oh, my God. Donkey punch.
How great was Chris Jericho because of The Rock? Remember when Jericho debuted in 1999? The Rock is great, David Hero. I'm not discounting what you said, but you talk about standing toe-to-toe with The Rock as far as promo ability in the ring. Is it not true that The Rock makes whoever he's in there with that much better on the mic, much like a Ric Flair, a Ricky Steamboat, many other great wrestlers made their opponent as good as they were at times?
All that three-letter word is going to say is, really?
Why do you listen?
Really?
Frank Cosentino,
really?
I would like to have an intelligent discussion with you. I would like to I will make a concerted effort, if you will, to have a discussion about this
three-letter word.
This question. You keep bringing up the WWE champion, The Miz. I'm not going there. I'm not going
You've
there.
Been there.
I'm not going
You've done
there.
That, and you bought the T-shirt.
I'm not arguing with you. 92 of them. I'm not arguing with you.
Am I raising my voice?
Stop.
Were they women's
What
size?
it's 73 degrees in here. You got me all worked up already. Kaz, my point is this.
Really?
The Rock being here, whether it's the person David Hero keeps bringing up, R-Truth, Ted DiBiase,
Wait a
anybody,
minute. Holy crap.
Anybody.
What was he drinking? R-Truth and Ted DiBiase? When was the last time DiBiase cut a promo?
Kaz. Anybody who has the honor and opportunity to be in that ring with The Rock and 2 microphones will be better off because of it. That's the only point I'm making. Why are you turning this around, Mr. Peck?
What have I done? I'm being obvious. There's nobody that can go. Listen, The Rock's not going to go in. Whoever goes toe-to-toe with The Rock with 2 microphones in their hand cutting a promo is going to lose. They're going to look silly.
Again, my point. They won't look silly. They'll look better.
No, they'll look silly.
Because
The Rock will get on the last.
fine. But by looking silly, they're still going to look better.
Well, sure, because they got their, Rudy Poo handed to them by The Rock.
Big Show, Jonathan Coachman, Michael Cole, Chris Jericho, the list goes on and on. People who people became more interested in and liked or hated more because of their interactions with The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point I'm making. I'm making.
But all those people you just listed didn't have writers. They get to ad-lib and feed off of the energy. Right now, that 3-letter word gets a promo sheet. Okay?
You're assuming.
I know.
You're assuming.
I know.
You're assuming.
Listen, where were we last week? Raw and SmackDown.
Indeed.
And they all have said they are given scripts. They can't be themselves. I can guarantee The Rock was not given a script tonight. He was given carte blanche. And it got to the point where he even stopped bleeping out, whatever he was going to say. That's the difference between The Rock and the new superstars of today. Those guys today cannot think on their feet because they don't have to.
Now
No. Wait, hold on. I think that deserves rephrasing. You just said they cannot think on their feet.
They're not allowed
to
think on their
feet. Exactly. Thank you. Kaz, I was attempting to have an intellectual conversation with you before this one interrupted us.
That's challenging.
The point I'm making is, yes, I am. Thank you very much. The point I'm making is, how great was the interaction with Cole and The Rock tonight?
It was magical. The whole thing was magical.
Exactly. So The Rock brings overall goodness to WWE and whoever he's working with, including R-Truth, including Ted DiBiase, including Yoshitatsu, the stud.
Yoshitatsu. Listen.
That's all I'm saying.
Here's the thing, amigo. They didn't bring out
real
3-letter word or Del Rio or Cena tonight because why get buried the first night? Build it up to something. Make it mean more.
Okay, but he did take a little time on Cena.
A little? Spent the most time on Cena.
That was a shoot. I don't care what anybody says. He's been waiting 7 years for that.
Yeah.
But The Rock left.
He did leave. Why not?
Greener pastures.
Hey, listen, The Rock is one of the smartest guys in wrestling. He has a great 7-year run. Becomes a household name. He leaves wrestling, makes $20 million a picture with Disney. Who wouldn't do that?
Right. He took advantage, and now he's back.
Mm-hmm.
For how long? I'm only guessing this is up to WrestleMania, maybe a week or two after, and that's about it.
I wouldn't be surprised if The Rock
ever leaving.
No. He'll do a Legends deal where he'll do personal appearances and that kind of stuff.
Right. That's part he's not going to.
There was a fire burning in The Rock's eyes tonight. There was. You can't take the emotion out of it. Maybe, I'm not saying this is fact, but maybe he wants to get back in the ring and do this for a few more years. Remember when Shawn Michaels came back for a limited run in 2002? 7 years later, he left the company.
The Rock right now is built for being in that ring. He's jacked.
Indeed.
He's not as lean as he was a few years ago.
Right. No. Until he did bulk up for a recent movie, by the way. He's training Hugh Jackman right now on how to bulk up because he just did. You got to start reading the Hollywood Reporter.
I agree with you that
I'll be host of the year there too. So
that fire came tonight. It all came back to him. But the moment that he gets back into his hotel room and he's like, all right, this is going to be cool. He's going to. Now, why did I leave? Oh yeah, all those bumps and all those travels and everything else.
But I don't know if that's why he left. As David said.
Well, no, he left for movies too. But I guarantee he feels a lot better after a movie.
He accomplished everything he could accomplish at the time.
Exactly.
I mean, there's nothing left.
So I think he stays till about WrestleMania, a week or two after, and then my question is, which stars will they put in a ring with him to put over?
He's not going to put anybody over. He comes back, he's going to be like an Undertaker, where he comes back as a special attraction. He's not going to come back to put the three-letter word over. There's no way.
No.
Think about it. There's not one person.
There is not.
With the exception of Triple H or Undertaker, there's not one guy on that roster that physically can compare to The Rock or promotionally compare to The Rock.
Okay, now if Vince McMahon said, we're great, you're here, we're going to pay you a boatload of money,
mm-hmm.
and he said, I need you to put over someone. I know that Rock probably wouldn't do it, but who would benefit the most?
John Cena.
Here's what you guys are missing.
Please tell me.
Here's what you're missing. Doesn't matter who's going to put over, who he's not going to put over, this, that, and the other thing. The Rock is there.
He's back.
The Rock is there. And
He's brought the strudel with him.
Let's not forget WWE's failing film division. They can just as easily pay him $15-20 million to do a movie and get some real people behind it and get a real star behind it and make that division start making money. I don't think this is a short-term play for The Rock. I think for the next 8 to 12 months at least, we're going to see The Rock prominently featured on WWE programming. Think of how much higher that's going to take all the other stars. Now, David Hero, you keep saying nobody compares to The Rock, nobody compares to The Rock, nobody compares to The Rock. Who compared to Hogan? Who compared to Austin when he was around? There's always only one, but you develop others around that one.
Right, and no one else has developed.
But have they had that chance?
Yeah, a whole bunch of guys have had that chance.
Dude, no. Dude? Hogan was unique.
Did he just dude me?
Sammartino was unique.
That's smart, dude.
Cena is unique. The Rock is unique. Austin is unique.
Three-letter word is unique. Absolutely.
The point I'm making is this. You've tired me out. It's been 27 minutes.
74 degrees.
17 minutes. The point I'm making is this, and I think we can come to agreement on this. The WWE, regardless of the scope of his involvement, is a better place as of 1 hour ago than it was 2 hours ago.
Absolutely.
I agree with that 100%.
But Damien, or Dude as you'd like to be called now,
Dude Love.
Here's the thing. Even
Day.
Frank, listen here. The Rock's been gone for 7 years.
Off and on.
Name one guy that has picked up the ball, that has run with the ball, and that has become as big of a mainstream crossover guy as The Rock.
Well, there is nobody.
Gone. Okay, that's what I mean. And they have tried with John Cena. They put a rocket up his Rudy Poo for the last, 5-6 years?
But they've tried with so many people. You've got to have it at your core, and if those people don't have it at their core, how can you blame them? You can't blame the machine on every failure that there's been, the machine being WWE.
I'm not blaming it. I'm just saying nobody has been able to do it.
You're right. You're exactly right. But I don't think that's anyone's fault.
Yes, it is.
Lightning in a bottle, David Hero.
You know, the problem is when they get these guys, when they get the Randy Ortons, the John Cenas, the Del Rios.
Randy who?
Randy Orton.
Oh, I had already forgotten about him.
Is that they're trained. You know, if they're put in a factory down in, Florida Championship Wrestling.
Tampa.
Name one guy that's come out of Florida with charisma. There isn't. I mean, I like Wade Barrett, but his
well,
thing,
that's not where I was going.
Nobody. Really hasn't. Okay, who?
No charisma at all.
Tell me who.
Well, wait. No charisma at all.
Who came out of FCW?
A lot of people.
Who?
Batista came out of FCW.
Oh,
well, not really.
Not even.
Look, but see, here's you're.
I'm right.
You're
That's
trying
why
to do apples when it's apples oranges. How
okay,
can
pick mangoes. It doesn't make a difference. It's still The Rock.
It's training.
And that's the thing. You're comparing these people to The Rock.
No, what I'm saying is who has picked up the ball and run with it since he left.
You're faulting them for trying.
They haven't tried.
John Cena didn't pick up the ball and run with it.
He has.
Triple H didn't pick up the ball and run with it.
Well, he was already established.
2001 is really when he became established. When he returned from the quad injury initially in Madison Square Garden.
Before that, he was a world champion.
So was David Arquette.
No. Oh, you're right. Triple H was the WWE champion, not the world champion at that time.
No, it was world.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what? I wish that there was somebody that could if you could put on the poster with The Rock today from Raw or SmackDown, that it would be that big of a star. John Cena's the only guy.
I'm not saying that there is. What I'm taking issue with is you seemingly are blaming the talent for there being no next Rock.
I'm blaming the whole company for not developing somebody to say, hey.
So they could have made anybody into the Rock.
Yeah. They could have found somebody with that charisma and that fire, and they could have let him.
At their core.
And they could have let him be that person instead of mold him into something that they're. Look at Ken Anderson. Okay? We know Ken well, and some people are going to criticize me for bringing him up. He's a talented guy. He's a good talker. I'm not saying he's The Rock, but he has said how many times that they kept tweaking him and changing him and putting the handcuffs on him, not letting him be him. That's the problem. Vince wants to control everything now.
Kaz, in your opinion, is there anyone with enough raw talent from what we know in WWE right now to have reached the heights of a Rock? If given the opportunity.
Yeah, I think there could be. At the moment, no. But there could be.
Well, who? You say Justin Gabriel, I'll punch you in the mouth also.
Frank's next big thing in 2011. And what are you threatening to punch people all over the place here? I will beat you down like I did that 6-year-old at the Brandon Center last Monday night.
That was 8-year-old. That was awesome.
If they want.
6 is a better story.
If the WWE wants, if they want to push, not push, force.
They got to force feed somebody. Who's it going to be?
It's going to be Miz.
But wait.
Three-letter word.
But didn't they?
But I mean, they will. If I'm answering your question, that's the guy. If they want to push to a limit,
like The Rock,
it will take years. But
they need The Rock.
Hey, remember when The Rock started? He was going up against the Sultan and all that.
He was also 6'5", and he had a great look.
Did people get better because The Rock was simply in the locker room when he was in WWE last? Yes or no? Did people get better?
Wait. When you say last, when he was tagging with Mick Foley against Evolution at WrestleMania?
Before up until losing to Brock Lesnar in 2002.
It was a different locker room. There was men in the locker room.
The question. Okay, did those men get better because The Rock was there?
No, they were better because they all had that it quality, that it factor. They were men that could do what they wanted to do. Vince McMahon could say, okay, Austin, okay, Rock, go out there and do your thing. I want 25 minutes.
But Austin and Rock did. They didn't give everybody that opportunity.
They gave Austin, they gave Rock, they gave DX, they gave Mick Foley, they gave Val Venus, Al Snow, Rikishi. Too cool.
The Rock is a unique. He has it all. I mean, he's like the Babe Ruth.
He's not host of the year.
Oh, he will be.
Well, after WrestleMania.
He will be. To have all of those qualities and make it work, you gotta. I mean, that's hard to find someone that has exactly that.
I guess I'm getting off point, which happens, I guess, once in a while.
Every now and again.
The fact is,
here's the thing.
Here is the thing. When the Attitude Era was strong, it was men in their 30s that have been around the horn. They did the territories. They got to perfect their craft. They did not come out of a wrestling school factory being told how to walk, how to talk, how to brush their hair. Big difference.
Kurt Angle.
He wasn't out of a wrestling factory.
But a guy that was given the ball and ran with it.
The FCW, even OVW wrestling factory era was around 2002, 2003. The guys before then, they worked their stuff in the territories.
I think it's just hard to just take a wrestler right now and picture him as someone that could be even in the same ballpark as The Rock.
You know, Baby Batista, he's got a great look. He could be a
guy can't talk for the darn.
He doesn't have to right now. Let him be him. Look at Brock Lesnar. He couldn't talk. They gave him Paul Heyman.
Who was before The Rock? If you're saying there's no Rock now, nobody who could stand toe-to-toe with The Rock now, who was before The Rock?
Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
No.
Shawn Michaels. There was no before The Rock. There was no Rock before The Rock.
Superstar Billy Graham?
Yeah, that's a good
Not
point.
nearly as big.
But not
Oh,
popularity
he was
different scale.
You
different
can't
scale.
compare the eras.
But you just did.
What do you mean?
I said, who was The Rock before The Rock?
I said superstar Billy Graham.
But
Hulk
you said
Hogan.
you can't compare eras. Hogan. Okay.
No, you can't compare popularity
Hogan
because
and Rock.
of cable TV and internet.
True. But Hogan and Rock are two different people, in my opinion, as far as their popularity.
But they could connect with the audience.
Okay. Rock and Bill Clinton.
Rock never messed around with interns.
Well,
that was made public.
Had that thing with Lillian Garcia, the Strudel.
Mm-hmm.
Was she announcing at the Grammys on Sunday?
You are just trying. You're just trying to prove me wrong.
Listen, when you sit in the middle of you, the right winger, and Frank, the left winger, like I do,
Don't
I gotta do point counterpoint.
Yeah,
I gotta keep you guys.
Is what it is.
A host of the year keeps you guys talking, keeps it flowing.
Hottie?
It's verified now.
Mm-hmm.
The point I'm trying to make is,
will
there ever be another Hulk Hogan?
No.
Will there ever be another Rock?
No.
Never.
Will there ever be another Steve Austin?
No.
So, the point I'm trying to make is, how can you compare anybody being
I don't
like
want another
The
Rock or another Hogan or another. I want someone that can be him, that can be his character and multiply it times 100.
So the issue isn't with him being him, whoever him is. It's with the machine allowing him to evolve and develop.
The machine does not let anybody become a bigger star than the machine.
Then there is an opportunity for wrestlers like The Miz. I'll put Dolph Ziggler as someone 4 or 5 years
They're
from
holding
now,
him back.
If they would open the door,
Mm-hmm.
I could see at some point, 3 or 4 years from now, The Miz and maybe Dolph Ziggler as someone they could mold if they wanted to. I don't think they will, but I think Dolph has 3 or 4 years from now that capability.
A couple of conversations coming at us on our Twitter feed right now. We appreciate this feedback. And I quote, Banner Dirty Flicks as the username on Twitter, saying, The Rock proved that the new generation of superstars just do not have, quote-unquote, it, not even John Cena. Continuing along, another comment on our Twitter feed, this one comes from Black and Red Ted, username on Twitter, saying, no one has risen to the heights of The Rock in WWE, and when guys are made cookie cutlerly, no one will ever reach those heights again.
That's a great point.
A lot of discussion out there. I don't want to miss the detailed discussion that we need to have on the 23 minutes that The Rock spent in front of the camera, essentially alone, minus the Raw GM and Michael Cole. And I think we need to go a little deeper into some of the things he said. It was a different Rock tonight. It was the same old Rock, but it was a refreshed, it was an energized, it was a gracious Rock tonight who addressed his critics, by the way, because many of the same fans right now who said, screw you, Rock. You turned on us, Rock. You went Hollywood, Rock, are the same ones that are marking out right now. And he addressed them.
Those fans that did that, as far as saying that's a joke. When you have an opportunity to make a lot of money, you take it.
Yeah, but they were jaded fans.
Right.
And I get that. Much more conversation, including a couple of your phone calls. The number is 276-ESPN, 414-276-ESPN, or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN. When we come back, this is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
You smell what The Rock is cooking? Know your role and shut your mouth.
Welcome back to the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. A little evolution of The Rock tonight as we go along the years of his themes. You know, we're here live on a Monday night. Beautiful Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Damian Nelson, host of the year, along with David Hero and the Kaz. I want to say thank you to all of you. You know, this show really is all about interaction. I want to thank all of you interacting with us on Blog Talk Radio and on Twitter as well. And you know what's interesting is some fan, I'll call him, on Facebook says that we spoiled The Rock being announced at WrestleMania 27.
How did that happen?
Let me make one thing crystal clear. you can't spoil live television. A spoiler is when you reveal something before it happens. Okay? Correct me if am I wrong there?
Right. We didn't spoil anything.
So, and you know, whenever, and I'm not going to get on a soapbox here, but whenever I don't want to know something that's going on in wrestling or whatever else it might be, a big game on TV, what do? Stay away from your computer, stay away from your phone, because you know you're going to not get it spoiled, but you're going to spoil it for yourself. But amazing discussion. Fish is in the room. Fish, The Rock is back in WWE on television.
He just gave Damien the DX crotch.
He was confused because when I said Rock, he thought it meant like the Rock of Love or something like you were talking about earlier.
We got to hear this.
Wait, Rock of Love?
Fish,
You honestly think that's the kind of television show that I watch?
It's on the DVR in here saved every week. We have to delete episodes so that we can watch Raw.
I was going to say, I'm the soccer guy. Now,
wait. Before, I need to say this.
Okay, you can't use your hands is what you're saying.
Right,
Hey, vintage Fish.
Wait, when was the last time that was said on these
It's been too long.
No,
The
the
Rock
hand
is back.
comment by Dave.
You're an old school fan. And what's the question you ask me each and every week when we see you here at the studio here at 540 ESPN?
Oh, it's great. You walk in the door and the first thing on my mouth is, hey, Damien, has TNA folded yet?
Exactly. An old school fan, a man, of course, who knows of The Rock of the day of old. You were on air when it happened. But your thoughts. The Rock is back in WWE.
Well, I mean, is this maybe a sign that the WWE has to go back and lean on one of its old heroes in order to bump up ratings? Or is just The Rock just that good that he can walk into any situation?
I think he's not only that good, but he's that damn good.
I'm just wondering why they have to bring The Rock back.
Well, you're right on both counts, to be honest. The Rock is that good, but when there's money to be made and The Rock can bring that to WWE, it's
a win-win-win. Yeah. It's a win for us. It's a win for The Rock. It's a win for WWE.
I agree with that, but it goes back to something that I know you guys have talked about many times on this show is, where is the WWE developing these new stars that should be able to, carry the load or be able to hold the mantle that The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin did. Now, there is something to be said for The Rock being one of the all-time greats, not just in the WWE, but in recent pro wrestling history, and there certainly is a place for him to be coming back, but every time they need a pop, do they just keep going back to The Rock?
Well,
it's like every time they do it. Yeah, I guess so. But every time they need a pop,
Jordan was back on a court recently.
They just reform DX every time they need a pop, kind of a thing. I mean, there is a little bit of that element in my mind.
Sure. All right.
I mean, really, if you want to get me to mark out, just bring back the 1, 2, 3 Kid and play his theme song. I will be there. Setting the DVR. I won't tape Rock of Love. I won't tape Basketball Wives. I will tape.
Well, he even knows about Basketball Wives? That's impressive.
Dude, I'm at the Bradley Center all the time. I do overtime on the airwaves.
So you know the Basketball Wives.
I know of the show Basketball Wives.
Fist, thank you so much for joining us.
This is getting good.
Right, exactly.
Right, exactly. Is the Twitterverse blowing up? You guys don't talk about wrestling anymore.
Oh, no. We're pop culture, believe you me.
Well, you guys just keep fighting the good fight.
Thank you very much, Fish. And let's go to the phone lines. We've got a lot of people waiting on hold. You can join us as the lines open up. The lines are full right now. The number, 414-276-ESPN, or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN.
He just crotch-chopped the back of your head.
It's because I'm host of the year. Let's go now to Ricardo down in Houston, Texas. Ricardo joined us on the Against All Odds post show last night as well on Blog Talk Radio. Ricardo, The Rock is back. Your thoughts?
It was so refreshing because when I saw those legs come out of that limo, I tweeted out to you, Damien, if it's Sarah Palin, I'm going to boycott the WWE.
And I subsequently became nauseous when you mentioned that name.
Who were the Cankles?
I don't know.
Maybe they'll reveal that next.
It was a swerve.
Absolutely.
But it was so damn refreshing when The Rock came out, and I still got goosebumps from watching that promo. I mean, everybody in the back should have been taking notes, and that's how you cut a promo by yourself. But David Hero, you're right. There's nobody in that company right now that can be The Rock. There's only one Michael Jackson. There's only one Michael Jordan. There's only one Rock, and nobody in that locker room. If you cut him loose, I think can be The Rock.
All right, Ricardo, thank you very much for that call down in Houston, Texas. Let's stay in Houston.
That stings you, doesn't it, Damian Nelson?
Doesn't sting me at all. the WWE champion, is going into WrestleMania, the WWE champion. Let's go to Houston. Let's stay in Houston rather and go down to James. You're live here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Good evening, guys. How's Milwaukee treating you?
Tremendous.
Okay, cool. About The Rock's promo, I think that the big thing that it proved for me as a wrestling fan is that promos, to me, are just as important as the matches that occur on television. I mean, he was on air for 20 minutes, and it was electrifying, no pun intended, and he didn't even wrestle. He just cut a promo.
The promos are the most important part of a wrestling match because that's how they talk you into the building.
Setting the table.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And then also, real quick, I know you guys have a lot of callers. You guys are speculating about how long The Rock may stay. Well, WrestleMania, of course, just got announced in Miami. So do you think with the shoot on Cena and stuff like that, do you think that they may set up a long-term maybe feud with Cena, and which will culminate into him maybe retiring in WrestleMania 28 in Miami?
I'd love to see it.
Thank you for that call, James in Houston. I don't think is there a bigger match in wrestling right now with active participants in WWE than The Rock versus John Cena?
No, not right now.
There you have it. And it's certainly not going to happen
it won't happen.
It can't happen this year.
No.
That's a 3-month build easy.
No, that's you could do it in 3 weeks if you had to.
You could, but you're wasting it at that point, I think.
Mm-hmm. The Rock.
It's funny, we're following all of your tweets, and we appreciate your comments. And it's funny, a couple of people, what is it, Wrestling Fan 316? Isn't that your favorite Twitter person?
Yes.
They send out some interesting tweets.
They do all the time, don't they? Jabronis.
We talked during the timeout about what this may do to the business overall.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of people with the other organization, TNA's name in their screen name, are saying things such as The Rock sucks, or user TNA is wrestling saying The Rock still sucks.
No.
The debate grows again because, you know what? If, as a wrestling fan, you didn't enjoy that 20 minutes or a portion of that 20 minutes on Raw tonight, you got to question whether or not you're an actual wrestling fan.
You are not. I'm going to upset some people. You're not a wrestling fan if you did not enjoy some of that. Maybe you didn't enjoy all of it, but that was something that is off the charts, where you're just going nuts at home, where you're calling your friends and saying, you've got to turn on Raw, The Rock is on.
That happened.
I said it in the beginning of the show. It was magical. It was magic. And to say that about a wrestler...
I've got the magic.
No, that's not what we're talking about.
Oh. I'm just saying. I mean, you know what? Sometimes you got to peel yourself away from thinking about what this means, what this is going to do.
Just enjoy the moment.
Exactly. And the three of us enjoyed all of those moments. And you know what? Let's make this point. I was lucky enough to be at the Allstate Arena when Jericho debuted back in 1999. And you knew it was Jericho. But just like what they did tonight with that epic entrance, it made it that much better. Whether it be a countdown or the lighting effects. The WrestleMania sign going off, the special effects lighting going off, the ring lighting going off, the stage lighting going off in phases. And then, still, is it, could it, is it, could it, is it, could it, is it, could it? If you smell what the Rock is cooking.
I don't think that's what Dixie Carter had in mind when she said her announcement was going to change the landscape of wrestling.
This one did.
Yeah.
Let's go to Justin down in San Antonio. Very popular in Texas tonight, we must be. Justin down in San Antonio, you're live here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, guys. How's it going tonight?
Good. Absolutely tremendous.
I hear that. You want to talk about markout movement of the year. I mean, this is a lock for Pro Wrestling Awards 2011. I mean, this is a lock for the award already, in my opinion. But nevertheless, I mean, wow. That's all you can really say about it. It's just wow. In my opinion, the single greatest wrestling moment in the past 10 years. I mean, nothing compares to, to a return of The Rock after this, 7-year absence. I mean, just one thing I want to touch on, though, is that a couple of my friends, we were talking about seeing the PG era is dead now because The Rock is back because, he went loose in his promo. I mean, he literally said anything that was pretty much not PG. I mean, from pie eating to, turn it some bit sideways to get up straight up Michael Cole's catty ass. I mean, do you think that, possibly the PG era is slowly died away, or is it just WWE letting The Rock be The Rock?
Oh, thank you very much, Justin. There's so much to talk about because WWE and The Rock worked this debut probably better than any debut they've done in the current age of wrestling, using Twitter, Facebook, WWE social networks, and the announcement. To the point of The Rock's language tonight, it's important to note there was a bleep. I believe that first one happened before 10. After 10, the gloves were off, and The Rock was running wild.
Right at 10, but...
And I liked it. I liked every minute of it, every bit of it, and it had to happen. David, you talked about the last time Austin was on Raw, when he was guest host, and he was muted. You could tell he was muted. The Rock was not muted in any way, in any shape, in any form.
And I'll tell you why.
On Raw.
I can guarantee you that The Rock talked to Austin and said, hey, Vinny wants me to come back. How was your experience? And Austin said it probably sucked, because he had to go off of a script. The Rock can write his own deal. Right. He doesn't need wrestling as much as wrestling needs him right now.
So who called who to start this?
Oh, Vince did.
And because of that, then The Rock has leverage. Sure, I'll come back, but you got to let me be me.
Keep in mind, February 1st, The Rock did an interview, said, I will return to WWE. I will return in a way that's larger than life, or something to that effect. This is a couple of weeks ago, gentlemen. Mm-hmm. This is not a year or two ago where we're trying to pull something out and show that was said. This has been well planned. This has been well done.
Where were they? Anaheim, Disney, where he does all
absolutely.
Of his movies.
Mm-hmm. We talked earlier today, David Hero. When this started coming out, people started saying Rock joins Twitter. We talked about how WWE worked this. Rock joins Twitter. Why would The Rock join Twitter? The Rock, who hasn't been The Rock for the last 3 or 4 years, Dwayne Johnson. The buzz on Twitter was electrifying. WWE Raw coming from Anaheim, California. They went to The Rock. It all made perfect sense. And it's always important to look back at how big they're making it, because a bit of marketing education for you, things are only as big as you make them.
Exactly.
WWE made this a huge deal. They did a special video for it and released it. Speaking of videos, The Rock, we just retweeted The Rock's video that he recorded tonight that wasn't a part of the broadcast on Raw, specifically for, it looks like, his followers on Twitter. This is why they're so great, and that's why it was so well done, because you knew. But then again, the Bob Barker thing was thrown out there.
They gave you just enough for us to all think, wait a minute, what's all going on here? This is taking too long with the woman and all that.
And by the way, TNA had a pay-per-view last night.
Which
this is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report. We're live on 540 ESPN, streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com. Die, Rocky, die. Die, Rocky, die.
We've got tweets like that before.
From Rocky Maivia
to The Rock,
to the Nation of Domination, to The Rock, to the People's Champion, to movie star, and now back to World Wrestling Entertainment. An epic night, ladies and gentlemen, in professional wrestling. A night that certainly will spur lots of discussion, including in the return of the Pro Wrestling Report primetime television this Friday night. Lots to talk about as this sinks in over the next couple of days. And as we look at what this means for WrestleMania 27, where we're going to be reporting live all week from Atlanta, Georgia, hot Atlanta, the ATL, where we're going to take a call from Richard in just a minute. This is big. And you know what? You sort of knew it was going to happen. Didn't matter.
You know what's interesting, though, is last year when we were talking about Bret Hart and how that was going to be big, and how TNA was going to have Hulk Hogan and how that was going to be big, in comparison, I don't think it compares at all. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not. Because we talked about that build-up, especially with Bret Hart.
Doesn't compare. Doesn't compare. Here's the thing about The Rock.
He's mainstream, baby.
Right.
He hasn't, since 2002, he said 7 years a couple times, he hasn't really been back.
Well, he did the
Unlike
Hall of
a
Fame
Hogan.
thing, the Hall of Fame thing with Steve Austin.
That was a one night. Remember, he never appeared at Mania. That
3
was
years ago?
That was Orlando, I believe, wasn't it? I think it was
His
Orlando.
daddy was inducted.
Mm-hmm. But he only appeared at the Hall of Fame. Remember, it was Rock's going to be at Mania. Rock's going to be at Mania. And Rock didn't get very good favor from that appearance.
Right.
Specifically because of some of the things that allegedly happened
They
between
all
him and John
said he
Cena.
went into business for himself.
Well, look at him. The business is himself.
Do you think he talked to some of the wrestlers beforehand tonight before he went on?
I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Because to put a shoot on Cena, I'm curious if he talked to him. Hey, I'm going to say something about you.
Who shot first, though? John Cena.
Correct.
You know, it's funny. It's so amazing. Because I think you made this point earlier, David Hero. And I'll make the point on top of that point. There will never be another Rock, Austin, Hogan. No. There will never be another Ultimate Warrior.
No, of course not.
But when you really stand them side by side, you know, wrestling evolves. Wrestling went from Hulk Hogan to Steve Austin. Went from Hulk Hogan to the NWO and WCW to Steve Austin to The Rock to John Cena. Yet, you put The Rock and John Cena in the ring, and John Cena becomes a joke. Now, John Cena...
I don't know if I'd call him a joke, but he's not at the same level.
Comparatively speaking. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And when The Rock started talking about John Cena tonight, it was a slippery slope. He started sliding down. But he owned that,
but he
just
created
like everything
the
else.
Buzz that now we're talking about it.
Absolutely.
Because could it be The Rock versus John Cena at Mania?
Can you imagine the decibel level? And I don't think this will happen. But if it's Vicky Guerrero and The Rock in the ring, just going back and forth,
he would slaughter her.
Another follower on Twitter by the name of Agent J. Russo makes an interesting point here. WWE programming has been must-watch since the beginning of 2011. The returns at the Rumble, The Rock, 221-11, and Triple H to come. We talked after that first Raw of the year about something felt different, whether it was more of an edge to WWE programming, whether it was the different direction they were taking with Dolph Ziggler in the main event at the Royal Rumble with Edge, with the WWE Champion retaining all the way through WrestleMania, including this Sunday when he defeats Jerry Lawler. It felt as if there was something different. That difference carried through into the Royal Rumble. That difference has carried through week after week on Raw. Has WWE just put the last ingredient into the perfect formula for new success in 2011?
That's a tough question because...
That's what I do. Host of the year, I ask tough questions.
Because of who he is. And because there is no other wrestler like him and never will be.
I said lightning in a bottle earlier. Another cliche is the perfect storm. David Hero, is this the perfect storm for the John Morrisons, the Dolph Ziggler, some of these other stars in WWE? Because the point we've made many times before is when Austin was there, when Rock was there, when Hogan was there, the secondary storylines were very important as well. Mm-hmm. Not the case anymore in wrestling.
Not at all. Not even close.
Which makes the overall product
Who's
better.
The Intercontinental Champion right now?
The Intercontinental Champion right now is Kofi Kingston.
And the United States Champion.
Daniel Bryan, who had a great match tonight,
yes,
by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Lost.
But those are two, used to be important belts.
Right.
And they're not anymore.
And during that day, they were important belts. As a matter of fact, if not for the Rock's Intercontinental Championship, that was a stepping stone
you had
in the path of the career of the
world
Rock.
Champ, the Rock as the IC champ.
And Austin took that same step.
Yeah.
IC champ up.
Yep. I don't see Kofi taking that same step.
How many times do you think...
Awesome point.
How many times do you think live we will see the Rock between now and WrestleMania?
We better see him every week.
It won't be every week.
We should.
No, you shouldn't.
You should.
No.
Yes, we should.
Yeah, I knew this was going to be...
No, we should.
Back and
from
forth.
a fan standpoint and from a WWE business standpoint, we should.
Why give it away for free?
He won't be diluted come Mania.
Amigo, how many weeks are? What? It's like 50 days.
I thought to bring it up, but I knew that there was going to be two different answers.
Well, yeah, because he's stubborn. He doesn't listen.
H-O-T-Y.
Hottie. It's weird.
Yep. Okay, maybe not every week, but more weeks than not, The Rock should be on.
I don't think he'll be on next week.
What's he going to do? What's the guest host mean at WrestleMania? What do you mean not next week? That's when they're going to get their rating. People speculating about what the overrun and what Raw's rating is going to get tonight.
Okay.
The rating is next week.
Here's why. You don't want to have Rock and Cena, Rock and three-letter word go back and forth from now until Mania.
Right.
So let it simmer for a little while. You know, it's like a good pot of chili. You don't eat it right away. You wait till tomorrow.
You do. That's true. They could, with assuming that it should happen, The Miz wins this Sunday, I could see like 2 or 3 weeks from now where Miz comes out and whoever he's wrestling at WrestleMania, and then The Rock can come out and say something where he can build that match up. Because what is The Rock's role as guest host? He's going to show up, introduce.
Here's the problem with The Rock being the guest host. He could own the show and intentionally bury everybody on it.
That's a good point. That's a great
point. Remember WrestleMania 14? Jennifer Flowers, one of the celebrities, and The Rock did that interview with her. That was 98, before the great one. And he's calling her Jenny during the interview and just being just a prick.
Mm-hmm.
To your point earlier, David Hero, there are several people in WWE that I can see being as talented vocally as that Rock.
Give me 3.
Which means the foundation. As I didn't say The Rock, I said that Rock, 1998. 3, I think obviously Alberto Del Rio.
Agreed.
I think the current WWE champion has that potential.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that someone, I want to say Ziggler, but I also don't want to say Ziggler.
I think Punk.
Absolutely CM Punk. Absolutely CM Punk.
But the problem with Del Rio, as much as I love the scarf, who has he ever had a chance to have a war of words with?
Alberto Del Rio?
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio.
That chance has got to happen before Mania.
Ray is not a talker.
No, he's not.
That chance has got to happen before Mania. Rock and Del Rio.
Absolutely.
It's got to. If The Rock doesn't have interaction with your main events, keep in mind, we really don't know what the matches are at WrestleMania.
Can you just imagine it? My name is Albert. It doesn't matter what your name is. It's waiting.
Right.
It's just a matter of
when. And we saw a little bit, in a way, with Shawn Michaels, and then Alberto Del Rio came out, and then Michaels super kicked him.
I mean, The Rock could be on SmackDown. That's his show.
People's show. The baseball slide, People's Elbow.
Mm-hmm.
Still one of my favorite. That's not my favorite Rock moment ever. It doesn't matter if The Rock counts to 3. Let's go down to the ATL site of WrestleMania 27 in the PWR. Sweet and sexy, sold out ticket package. Richard, you're live.
How you guys doing?
Good, Richard.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring out 2 things. As far as The Miz goes, I honestly thought as soon as he became WWE champion that he was the best thing that WWE has had since The Rock. Because to me, John Cena's promos were kind of corny, and The Miz, when he came out and like his confrontation with Chad Ochocinco during the summer, I thought that was really good. If you guys remember that.
Sure.
And also with The Rock coming out tonight, I was kind of on edge whether I was going to go to WrestleMania or not, but I think that pretty much sold it for me.
See, he sells tickets. He talks you into the building.
Thank you very much for that call, Richard. Are you going to be going to WrestleMania?
Yes, I am.
Absolutely tremendous. What?
He just said that's what did it for him.
I was taking notes for the next segment. I'm sorry. What's the reason the 2 of you are here if you can't keep the show flowing while I'm distracted
You have all
briefly?
the buttons in front of you. We don't
Thank
have
you very much
kind
for
of
that
stuff.
call, Richard.
See what I mean?
I was sitting wrong.
Down in Atlanta.
Loosen up your buttons, baby.
It's interesting. Tonight, a lot happened on Raw. Let's not miss that point.
Right.
The WWE champion had a great match with Daniel Bryan, and a lot of people, without being solicited, made a point to
Well, they were on the
about,
OBT.
Made a point to talk about how great that match was, giving both men in that matchup credit. We saw, for the first time in those promos for 221-11, The Undertaker revealed.
And Lockster on Twitter says, why would The Rock be there next week?
That's when the ratings are.
But The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels are going to be there next week.
No, that's 221. Why? All these specifics and dates. This is breaking news. Tillman, talk in my ear more so I don't make these errors in the future, all right? Let me know
you like it when Tillman
what's
talks
going
in your ear,
on.
doesn't he? Don't you?
They blew...
Huh?
Okay, who remembers... I think Wednesday it'll set in that we saw The Undertaker tonight.
We saw The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels in that.
Saw Shawn Michaels.
I saw Shawn Michaels
The
in that
Undertaker.
promo.
You saw Shawn... Frank, did you see Shawn Michaels?
I could.
You could see him, couldn't you?
I could see him. The moment you said it, I'm like, it did look like him.
It is him. It's HBK and the UTK.
Frank, you're a broadcast journalist, somewhat. A leading question is what he just led you to that. He led you to that answer. When he said Shawn Michaels, he said, "Oh yeah, I did see that."
Well, yeah, it's my Jedi powers. These are not the droids you're looking for, Frank.
No. It's like what you always try to do when we ask people for their opinions out there to answer a poll or whatever, and then you give a little hint or a little tweak to get their mind thinking in the direction.
I tweet, not tweak.
That you want them to think.
I looked at it again. I'm thinking, well, I can see how it could be.
See?
But
Frank's a smart guy. Frank gets it.
I'm thinking of these questions as this was going on. Do you think the timing was right on this?
What do you mean?
With The Rock coming tonight? Knowing that they're trying to sell Elimination Chamber?
Well, they've got to take the express route to WrestleMania after the Chamber. So starting next week, they need to put a card together for WrestleMania.
Nah, they got The Rock. That's all they need.
Well, no, but that's the point. This week was the right week to do it.
Okay, because
last week would have been better, by the way. You know, because we could have been there.
We could have had some Baba Ganoush with The Rock last week.
That's right.
Baba Ganoush?
Yeah. Falafel, marhaba, hamdallah, kiftizik, all the good stuff. The hookah man, Omar Hamdan, he hooked us up.
He did.
It was a great time at Casablanca.
And this Sunday we'll be at Romines.
With those. Huh?
We'll be at Romines this Sunday with Honky and you.
Honk Man.
Yeah. What? I almost forgot. Cousin Jack Body Slams on Ice this Sunday. MilwaukeeAdmirals.com. We got the Honky Tonk Man. We got Sergeant Slaughter. We got Coco.
Sergeant Slaughter, who's going to be on Tosh Point tomorrow night, by the way.
You're interrupting me. Coco Beware.
That was relevant. It was a point.
Yeah,
it was an add-on.
Okay.
You had it in your little notes there, but you chose not to.
No, I don't.
With Frankie the Bird?
Yeah, Frankie will be there. George the Animal Steel. Yeah.
Frank.
Yeah.
That's Frank, not Frankie.
That's this Sunday, Milwaukee Admirals Body Slams on Ice. Go to MilwaukeeAdmirals.com for more information. And then we'll be at Romines watching the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view.
It's a perfect day because you get the opportunity to go meet those legends and then roll right on through to Romines to watch the Elimination Chamber, which should be an interesting pay-per-view, especially given what Vicky Guerrero said about the title situation between Edge and Dolph Ziggler tonight. All right, we're going to regroup, take a time out. When we come back, we're going to go to Columbus and then Detroit, all while sitting right here. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com.
540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report. Let's keep it rolling, Tillman. Welcome back to the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report. Damian Nelson, 2010 Host of the Year, along with David Octavius Octavius, not a Hall of Famer, and the Cos, Frank Cosentino. What you're listening to right now is from WWE Raw tonight. The Rock returns to WWE Raw. He is the guest host of WrestleMania 27 from the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. An epic night, gentlemen, for sure. It's all we've been able to talk about tonight. We've rescheduled our guest, or attempting to reschedule our guest, the Honky Tonk Man, for a future week, but he will be in Milwaukee Sunday for all of you listening to us here on 540 ESPN. Want to remind all of you listening on Blog Talk Radio, keep us the number one sports show on all of Blog Talk Radio by favoriting and following the show right now and never missing an episode of the Pro Wrestling Report. Not much discussion about the pay-per-view last night, but we did do a full episode last night, the post-show, which is available at pwrshow.com and on the PWR iTunes, iPhone, and Android app. You can go ahead and get that and listen to our thoughts on the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Jeff Hardy, from Against All Odds last night. And don't forget, we'll also be on television this week, returning to TV on 540 ESPN, streaming live. I'm sorry, not streaming live. That's the radio show. David Harold, you and your antics over there confused me. You threw me off. I was on a host of the year roll. I was rolling like a hottie.
You are rolling. Absolutely. Why do I distract you?
Because you're always up to something. Newman, you're pure evil.
Newman? Wow.
The Rock is back.
You just called me fat.
You know what? Wrestling.
Hurtful.
This may be a bolder statement than I want it to be, but I don't give a care right now.
You don't give a...
Wrestling is back. Let's not read too little into what The Rock said tonight. Let's not read too little into the slipping of several expletives during Raw tonight. Let's not read too far back into The Rock deciding to be a part of World Wrestling Entertainment again. Let's not put too little into the fact that The Rock went straight after Mr. PG himself, John Cena. Significant night tonight, gentlemen.
That was the shocking moment of the whole thing, that he went there.
Well, who else is he going to go after?
I didn't think he was going to go after anybody. I really thought he was just going to...
Did he need to go after anybody tonight?
No, not tonight.
It's good that he did, but he didn't need to.
I was shocked that he went there.
He proved a point. He went out there and said, you know what, I've been gone for 7 years, and it's still my arena.
Palm of his hand. Millions and millions. And you could almost time it. Not just what he said when he said it, but the Rocky chants. Don't discount The Rock and how amazing his timing is and how he literally, more so, David Hero and Kaz, than anybody in the business, in the history of the business, than Hulk Hogan, I would say, has everybody in that arena in the palm of his hand.
He even got in a Justin Bieber reference.
Oh, that was for Damien.
Now they got to have him at WrestleMania.
Baby.
Really?
Rock's not singing the national anthem.
Really?
Or America the Beautiful. Have they always done America the Beautiful and national anthem at Super Bowl?
Really?
Yeah. Well,
America the Beautiful seemed new this year.
No, they've done that since basically 2001.
Thank God they did it because Xtina botched that whole thing.
Yeah.
How about Rihanna last night?
Wow. She was the only girl at the Grammys, it seemed like.
She was. At least she didn't wear no stupid egg on her shoulders to get over.
Twitter username Bart5901. Bart5901. The Rock is back to WWE. PWR show just spoiled Raw for me, but I don't even care.
Oh, how did we spoil Raw?
It hasn't broadcast in all markets yet. But it was on in Germany today.
Our fault.
No. Okay, Snitsky, again.
That's fine. Whatever it is. You know what? Listen,
it's all in great fun.
It is.
And we appreciate it, and we appreciate all of you. Let's go
most
to...
of you, not all of you.
Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Detroit, Michigan. Patient Dwayne who's been waiting on hold. Dwayne, you're live here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Hello.
I thought The Rock coming back, that was like, man, that was huge. That was big. I talked to my brother who was at the show like a while ago. He said the place was like rocking. It was loud. He literally lost his mind. And he said CM Punk did the people's elbow in a dark match.
Oh, really? Wow. Tremendous.
Yeah. He said
Tremendous.
it was a dark match. It was Miz and Punk against Orton and Cena. And he said Punk threw off his Nexus band and did the people's elbow. So yeah, but it was real. I had chills, man. I couldn't believe it. Like it was like that big. When I saw the women's legs and the pump, I was like, okay, well, who is this?
Sarah Palin.
Yeah.
Now, did it make you more, less, or even either way interested in WrestleMania 27?
No, I mean, WrestleMania is WrestleMania. So, I mean, I'm always be interested from a fan standpoint, regardless of who's hosting. You know what I mean? It's more so, with me, it's more so about the matches.
You know, and thank you very much for that call, Dwayne. You know what's interesting, and I thought about this earlier when the buzz started about The Rock. How many people buried the whole guest host concept? And let's include Vince McMahon with that, by the way, because as part of their earnings call last week, he talked about or was asked a question about whether or not they were going to bring back guest hosts, and he said, only when they're significant, only when they match up with what we want to do. This is just WWE. They've done it for 30, 40, 50 years, whatever it is. They're so perfect. The machine is perfect. Like Kevin Nash said when he was on the show a couple of weeks ago, the details, the little things. Not having Jin Mi not appear on the pay-per-view because they weren't getting flown in until the day of. It's those details and those little things that WWE perfected today. Because think about had The Rock not created a Twitter account. Think about had The Rock not posted, finally, get ready on his Facebook account.
He teased like crazy.
Think about had those things not happened.
Not us.
And that's the thing. If this was on the other side of in the other company, there would have been pictures of him out there before. Well, Rock did that too, by the way.
Right.
It was just so perfectly executed. I know I keep making that point, but I think it's a valid point to make. But now let's go, and we're still going to take more of your phone calls in the last few minutes of the show here. The number 276-ESPN locally or 1-800-990-ESPN, 1-800-990-3776. Let's go out to Columbus, Ohio. Adam, you're live here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, guys. How's Milwaukee treating you tonight?
Milwaukee is tremendous as always.
Guys, I can feel the energy in the studio from here all the way in Columbus, Ohio. The Rock is finally home.
And did you?
He made
Adam,
that point.
He made that point, and he went and he said this. This is Dwayne talking. He got a little bit more personal with the viewing audience and the fans. Did that feel real to you? Was it still real to you, Adam?
Go ahead.
If this was anybody else, I would almost feel like the wool would be kind of like being pulled over my eyes because I know there's some talk, beforehand, the Stinger coming to WWE, but as big as that could have been, now that you brought in The Rock, any momentum that the Stinger would or could have would be null. Because if Sting were to come out and try to say stuff on the same lines as The Rock did, I think it would have almost fallen on deaf ears.
But see, Adam, this is where I have a fundamental disagreement with the other two gentlemen in the room here, Frank and Dave, and even
We're
you to
fun,
this
he's
degree.
the mental. Let's not forget that.
There's too much comparing going on. We've all agreed that The Rock is The Rock, that Cena is Cena, Hogan is Hogan, Austin is Austin. Ronald Reagan was a great president, celebrated his 100th birthday there were celebrations for what would have been his 100th birthday last week. I think Bill Clinton was a great president. Two entirely different people. You can't compare these individuals, in my opinion, like Sting coming into WWE, if that were to happen, completely different situation. Completely different situation. And I think that could still happen and still add more to that sauce that is WrestleMania.
And you brought up Cena, and I made a tweet earlier to you guys, and I just wanted to reiterate it. Over the last 5 years with the build of guys like, the current WWE champion, John Cena, Randy Orton, and even to some extent Dave Bautista while he was still in the company, when The Rock cut that promo tonight, over the last 5 to 6 years, what Vinnie Mac and the Machine thought they had wasn't even close.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock schooled every star they tried to build within the last 5 years with a 20-minute promo, and all he needed was the fans, Michael Cole, and a $2 laptop.
Come on, that's a lap dance. I'm like, where is that?
And you're going to need the money you're saving for the day after if you're getting one of those. But Adam, thank you very much for calling in from Columbus. Columbus, near the home of the current WWE champion, by the way.
Three-letter word.
Everyone in the business is talking about this. If you follow a lot of the talents on Twitter, including many talents from TNA, giving props to what WWE did tonight. Tonight was epic. Tonight was a major event in 2011 in professional wrestling. Is there anything wrong? We've been gloating about this and celebrating The Rock. Is there anything, David?
You know when you mentioned about The Rock with the slippery slope, talking about John Cena?
Yes.
But do you realize what he did before he even did that? He addressed the crowd as Dwayne and thanked all of them. And he is his backbone, and he came back for them. He could have said he was Bin Laden, and they would have cheered him after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He set it up perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say
He
that
Venus flytrapped him.
Would you say that this is,
you suckered him in?
Seymour?
Yeah, absolutely.
In wrestling history, at least since it's been called Raw or SmackDown, one of the top 5 moments ever? Would you put it there yet?
Give it a week. Let's give it a week before we say that. Because the answer now would be yes, from me anyways.
Well, it's in the top 5. Because here's why it's top 5. Because we've wanted this.
We've wanted not necessarily The Rock, we've wanted this.
Just a moment, not match. Just a moment.
It's certainly a contender, Frank, and maybe that'll be a discussion for this Friday's PWR Primetime. Sorry, I was reading a tweet from Dave DeMark who said WWE buried TNA for the next 2 months and proved just how powerful they truly are. Best Raw in a very long time. Now, I would venture to say if Twitter and Facebook and all that existed back in 2001 when WWE purchased WCW, equal excitement. And look what they did with that. How can this go wrong, if in any way, for WWE, Dave? We've been gloating about the. We've been
How can it go wrong?
We've been celebrating
The
The Rock all
for
night.
a DUI tonight.
Well, it didn't hurt A-Rai.
Well, it's different.
I bailed him out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not going to go wrong because it's been thought out. This has been in the works for a little while.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Kaz?
Yeah, it would literally have to be something from a public standpoint where he gets himself in trouble, which he won't. I can see them overexposing, but it's the build up to WrestleMania, and I think they're trying to get as many buy rates for this upcoming pay-per-view on Sunday, which I think is the reason why they had it tonight.
I mean, WWE, I think, was in
smart people there. So from a marketing standpoint, I mean, from a fan standpoint, I probably would have waited till next week.
You got Taker and Shawn Michaels next week.
You
got to do it this week.
No. But they could have, if they thought it out months earlier, before they had that promo, they could have had 2/28, whatever the last Monday is of February, and then have The Rock next week. In a perfect world, I guess. But in this case, hey, people watch. People are going to talk about this for the next 24 to 48 hours easily. And now it's really the challenge of the WWE marketing people. How do we make this work correctly? They have their vision, but there could be people like, we got to push this like crazy. And that could, that could hurt.
And they won't have to push it like crazy because The Rock has to call up Leno or Conan or Fallon or Kimmel, and he'll be on there in a heartbeat. I mean,
you talk about game changers. You mentioned it earlier, Dave Hero. Hogan defeating the Iron Sheik in Madison Square Garden, that was a game changer. Eric Bischoff coming over to Raw in 2002 was a game changer. Hogan going to WCW in 94 was a game changer. This has the potential of being one of those game changers. While The Rock isn't new,
they got to sustain.
Exactly. I said potential to be. Because this takes us back to the Wayback in the Wayback Machine. This takes us back. If done properly, if utilized properly, I firmly believe that The Rock's presence in WWE, and let's not forget Stone Cold Steve Austin's presence in WWE, will make for some tremendous new stars, some tremendous television, some tremendous pay-per-view. I don't think this was a one-shot deal for WrestleMania. When I talk one-shot deal, meaning they did this just to get some buys for WrestleMania. I think they did this as a strategic play for the long-term future, and the failing, comparatively speaking, to within the last 3 years, the failing WWE live event business, the failing WWE DVD business, merchandise business. Now, they're still doing good, but by the way, if you look at the numbers, they're way in the toilet.
I'm sure
compared to where
Zone
they've been.
has the I bring it.
Absolutely.
Selling right now.
I think this was a strategic move by WWE, and I hope, I want this to be the game changer that we need. However, the game changer shouldn't have come from WWE. The game changer should have come from TNA Wrestling.
TNA.
And I'm not saying The Rock should have gone to TNA. That was never going to happen.
No.
The game changer, whatever it may have been, should have been coming from TNA, not WWE. Gentlemen, your final thoughts on The Rock's return to WWE television tonight. Kaz, go first.
One word, magical. Don't forget this, fans. If you're a wrestling fan, you enjoyed this tonight, and DVR or Evo it is something to keep.
David Octavius, Siberian.
It was electrifying. Finally, wrestling has come back to Raw. Not just do something with SmackDown. God help them.
We want to thank all of you for your amazing interaction tonight and being a part of this program with us. We also want to welcome all of our new listeners who have recently joined us on Twitter and followed us on Twitter. We will be back again next Monday night with a brand new ESPN radio show. And Friday, the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time, be the booker for the Elimination Chamber. For the Kaz and David Hero, this is the host of the year, Damian Nelson, saying thanks for tuning in to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPN.com.